like, oh, it's a problem. Like, it's not a problem with, oh, if you don't like something, change it. But it's kind of like deeper. It's like, okay, well, why don't you like it? Like, is it like an actual medical condition, a birth defect, a deformity, an accident that happened, or is it like just because you don't like how you look
Or they
according
compare themselves
to
to somebody else.
right, you're comparing yourself to somebody else, or you don't think that you fit into that European standard. You think that your nose is
But
too
I don't
wide or
think
whatever.
nothing's wrong with that. If you see a certain nose on somebody and you think you will be cute with that nose, then change your nose.
Right,
But
I do not think anything's wrong with that at all because I'm going to track down whoever did
Sometimes
K
people are
Michelle's work.
born with
Right.
horrible features and they should change them.
exactly, but I mean, just thinking of
But what makes them
God,
horrible? Like horrible to who
right? Because the
and
African
All
why?
American
right, let
nose
me, for
is naturally
example,
big.
Okay, hold
for
on.
example, if
Let
there
me
was
get Benji's example. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
for example, if I was born with a lazy eye, I don't want my eye just dangling while this one looking at you right here. If they could fix it, fix it.
No, no, we're not talking about that. That's not what
we're
we're talking
talking
about.
about
We're not
something
talking about
different.
deformities
Okay,
and
okay, my
whatever.
nose. Say I don't like the shape of my nose. Like some people got this big old lump in their nose right here, and they make it look like they got a big ass walnut in the middle of their face. If you want to change that and take that little knot out of there, take it out.
That's
Nothing wrong
fine.
with
Agreed.
that.
That's fine.
Next,
Agreed.
So is a difference between doing something for the cosmetic of all right, I have a
looking better.
deformity or looking better, but it's another thing to be like, all right, I have this African American nose, I'm black as shit, but I want to cut it a little
Everybody, every
bit to a
African
European.
American knows this is not huge.
Right.
Yeah, but if
There's
you
Like
some wide noses and there's some extra big noses like
And there's
Mimi,
some
Malik
extra,
North
but
there's
and
some
listen,
extra
but
I.
wide,
listen,
but
but
all of us
listen,
don't
but
got
listen,
big
but listen.
noses.
If you're having nose surgery, more likely you're not getting it wider. You're getting it cut smaller and smaller
Right.
to look like a European nose, because
Right
that's
now,
the
That's not
standard.
necessarily just a
right now.
European nose. Like I said, like every black person does not have a wide, big nose.
But that's why you can tell that they had nose surgery because it's a
No,
European
it
nose
doesn't.
that
I
they're
have
getting.
family members that don't have big noses and they didn't get no damn
Yeah.
surgery done. They can't afford it.
But I'm
Yeah, my
saying if
nose
you
not
see a
huge.
black person with a nose surgery,
pew
more likely
pew.
you can tell that it's a nose surgery because it's a European feature. The way they do it, it's going to look like this.
You need a little work done, Khalid.
Who? No, I don't. Not to this.
Okay.
Not to none of this.
Okay.
They're going to give you that
We
Nene
know
Leakes
you got
special.
face. You get face.
I think
I,
everybody just need to stop focus on what's this European look. If you don't like something about yourself and you think a certain thing will make you look better, change it. All
okay.
this focus on what somebody else got and what is it look? Does it look like this or does it look like this? Are you trying to copy off of this? Don't nobody give a damn. If you want to change something about
So
yourself, change
I
it.
have a question for Benji specifically. So do you think that, because I have my opinion about this too, but do you think that people that are dark skinned bleaching themselves, you think that that's okay? Like, I mean, if they want to change themselves, I say do it if it's fucking with you like that. But dark skinned people bleaching themselves, like, what do you think about that? What's your opinion? Because I personally want to
You
know.
want to do that's your skin. You was born
Okay.
in that.
My thing is, as long as you're not,
Now, if you come out
as
looking
long
stupid
as
as shit, like a backwards Dalmatian or something, I'm gonna talk about you, but you still can change it if you want to.
Like, we can't talk about people with skin problems.
It's not a skin problem. I mean, your natural skin was
If you
your natural.
your natural skin was your natural skin, now if you change it because you don't like your complexion or you don't like your race or whatever, that's fine. You got to deal with that. Talk to your therapist. But if you come out looking stupid,
so
just know that somebody's gonna
Oh,
talk
The
I
about you.
majority of them do come out looking stupid as a makeup
That's
artist.
And that's
I've
why
seen
we
Could it be
talk
it.
light?
It's
about
Could it
it.
be white
because
with
it's not
black
it's not a
elbows?
right. It's not a natural pigment. Like
It's not
that's not your
exactly.
natural pigment, and it's like, bro, why do you look
But a
like
lot
that?
of them
And
will do it.
even
They like the
makeup doesn't.
complexion. A lot of them like the
so,
complexion that comes out. So you like it, I love it. I'm still gonna talk about you.
so
Well,
I
the
think
reason why they're doing it is because of the stigma behind the dark skin.
okay, but
Yeah,
all right.
this is
Stigma.
This is
horrible.
before we get back into colorism.
Yeah, we're not going to colorism, but that's a
So
long
No.
conversation.
let me reel this back in. So basically,
Right, you missed that one.
basically, no matter what you want to get fixed, is okay to get whatever you want to get done surgically.
Whatever you can
It just
afford.
it just comes down to not wanting to change who you are personally. Like I feel like your physical and your mental should never be. It shouldn't be so intertwined. It should be definitely intertwined, but not so intertwined to where now this nose is fucking with you mentally, or now your skin complexion is fucking with you mentally, versus you just wanting to change something. So,
well, a lot of people do it for confidence reasons, and when they do get those surgeries done or get something fixed, it does help them feel better. So I don't see anything wrong with that either.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
I
with
think
that.
we just
Because
got
me
some bullshit
I agree
personally,
people
with that.
doing, and mind
me
that goddamn
personally,
business.
I'm getting a whole 360, get my whole waistline snatched the fuck up within the next couple of months. But I'm doing it for me, not because I see people with small waists. I'm doing it
Exactly.
because I want to get
Like,
rid of the love handle. Because the older I get, it's gonna keep you know what I mean. So
As you get older, it's harder to pull that weight off.
right.
the
So I'm
thing
a definitely
is, so I think when it comes to all of our perspective of beauty, is we all is like, you create your own perspective of beauty, but
Exactly.
we do live in the United States of America, and they have their own standard that's like
Exactly.
slap
And
it all.
ugly is ugly.
So, and I feel like
I feel like more so it's moving less
what's the
from,
standard? Because
oh,
I don't
I
know what
want
it
to,
is.
like, I think it's moving less from, oh, I want to look white, or more toward the European standard of beauty, as to I want to look more youthful. So it's
Yeah.
Youthful.
like,
I was about to
more
say that.
honestly,
I was
right.
about
He
to
was
say
no,
that.
like,
I don't even agree with that, because I feel like now in America, I feel like it's about sex. Your body is about sex sales. It ain't even about like looking young. It's just
Sex
about,
always failed. It was always that.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
always
no,
been
sex
around.
always
No,
is.
but I feel
So,
like
but
now
like
is at an
when you were
all-time
younger,
high to
your
where
waist was
everybody.
more strength.
Sex
When you
always
were
sold, but
younger,
bitches back in the day, sorry, not
Had natural
women back
sex.
in the day, they didn't want to get a bigger ass. They wanted the smaller ass. They wanted boob jobs. They wanted smaller boobs. Sex sells, yes, but now sex is at an all-time high because of our social
Because
media.
everybody a bot. Because everybody want to be a bot.
Everybody want to be because they see bops are being put on this pedestal. Like, oh, I
It's
could get that
popular
if
to
I
be
get
a
a fat
hoe.
ass.
these
It's what
supposed to
it
be
is.
winning.
It is.
Why they
Listen,
be? Why
It's
they
all
be?
at the end of the day. It's about sex selling. Like,
exactly.
and that's you're advertising it through your body. It ain't even because you want to just look your best. It's about I want to look at a certain standard. I want to look at that. I want to look like that standard to where I can, like Rel said earlier, to where it look like I either got money or I'm at a certain status, or I can sell my body to where I can get what I want. Not sell it as in
The only fan.
prostitution, but sell it as in.
But technically, I mean, listen, if everybody's going to Mexico for a bop special, obviously that means that there is a certain look that is being catered to that everybody wants.
That's what I'm saying. In America, there's a certain standard, and we was just talking about what the standard was, and I said this. I think to me, the standard is sex sales. Like that's just my like.
There's always been sex sales. It's just about what is sex now. It's advancing. It's more so the
Sex
LGBT
and youth,
community.
sex
The
and youth
LGBT
go hand
community
in
show
hand.
us right, but they showed us the LGBT, our community always shows us what sex is. Like the big butts, the high cheekbones, the lips. You know what I'm saying? That was all transsexual and drag queens, which big ups to them because it's beautiful. It is what it is. But
Kelly
the
Harper
straight
back
community,
in the
they
day.
taking that now.
I remember Kelly
Okay. May she rest in peace.
Oh
Now,
my God, I
they're
remember.
taking that look and making it into the new sex symbol. You know what I'm saying? So
And
you're
Yeah,
right.
no,
Sex
because
do sell. You're right.
Summer
but even
Walker
if
looks like a femme queen.
yeah,
Like her nose is too thin.
even if that's the
Like,
case, it's still at the end of the day, it's the look is based on sex, and that's all it's based
You're
on.
right. Right.
But
You're
which is crazy because if you look at, and this is a little mind-boggling, a little crazy for America because if we base off the media is like TV and television, and the bitches that are acting and you know what I mean, they don't get their bodies done like that. Like it's strictly like
they don't get their bodies done like that. They don't wear the extreme makeup like
they
that.
don't
Like,
do
don't.
all that.
like,
So it's weird
It'll
because,
fuck up a role for you.
but it's weird because if you look at the
It's
standard
all the
that's
fake
slapped across
celebrities.
America,
The
it don't
D
really
list, the
matches
B
with,
list.
it really don't
Right.
match
Ain't no A
with
list actor
the,
doing that.
that's
okay.
always
I
my
think it's
aesthetic.
different
It was like, I
sections now
want to do.
because video
Go ahead.
girls is something different. Reality girls is something. Reality girls get their bodies done.
Yeah.
Video girls get their
Because
bodies
that's
done.
not real
But
celebrity.
no, I was
Not
gonna
to
say
me.
nobody really takes them seriously. Though.
Every
That's
girl
Like,
not
gets
real
their body
celebrity.
done, but movie stars, but actresses.
Right.
Every other
Right.
facet. Because
Except
or
for
if they
actors.
They
or
get the
if they
youthful
do,
look though. They do
yeah.
get like Rail said, the
yeah,
youthful thing.
Botox.
It
They
is a
try
big thing.
Yeah, that's about
they
it. Nothing real
yeah.
visual.
My thing is
Right.
actresses uses surgery to maintain what they already have. Everybody
Yeah.
else
Like when Kelly got her boobs
enhance.
done, she
Like,
got
you know
she
what I
got
mean?
a B. She didn't get no D or trying to be extra. She just wanted to
Exactly.
look a
Something
little
that works
cool.
gradually.
Who
But
did
you
you
don't really
say?
notice it.
Kelly
Kelly,
Rowland.
yeah,
Kelly Rowland.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Kelly got her boobs done?
Yes.
yeah. That
Oh,
was
I didn't
years
know
ago.
that. I didn't know that.
She talks about it. She talked
Wow.
about it.
Yeah, she talked about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's nothing wrong with I don't think it's nothing wrong with surgery, but I do think there's a certain thing wrong with wanting to obtain something to fit in, just to fit in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's to fit in this group, whether it's to fit in that mode of type of people, I don't think you should ever do anything to fit in. You should just only do things to make you feel better. Now,
Right.
because at the end of the day, like, it takes more. There's a lot of bitches out here. There's a lot of guys out here with their bodies done, and they are doing absolutely nothing with their life. So it takes more than just having a body done to get to
Right.
these places.
If people are going to get these BBLs and going back to the project,
Period.
like,
Like,
you
you
could
know
have
what I
took
mean?
that
Okay. You
10,000
get a
and
big butt. You need to
invested
be on
in
a
it. Right.
Even if
Pornhub. If you
they-
get a big butt, I want to see you on Pornhub.
But see, that's what they thinking. Like, well, that's where they end up because they don't get to where they thought they was going to get. So they end up on OnlyFans and Pornhub. So,
even if they get their surgery done to fit in, like I feel like we live in a world where people are so judgmental and everybody is not strong. And if they feel like they
Right.
got to do it just to fit into a mold or to make themselves feel better, do it. I don't care.
but if you're doing it,
I agree.
Not
Just
for
for
that.
your self-esteem, but
Do
not
it.
to
It
fit
is
in. 'Cause I
hard
don't
to
know.
live in this world. We all got different
But I-
struggles. And if somebody's struggle is society and you want to fix yourself to fit into society, boo, go ahead and do it.
I
But a
don't.
lot
But
of
after
times
25, why you
they're
trying to fit
straight.
into somebody?
I was going
I
to
don't
say, a lot of
understand
times
that.
they're straight
After
in one
25, you shouldn't be
struggle
going
for
through that.
another.
I don't agree with that because of the simple fact that, again, you shouldn't be based. I feel like, all right, let's put it this way. I feel like the internet is not built for everybody. Everybody's not built for the internet. Like, you know what I mean? So because some people are too influenced, some people are too sensitive, some people are too emotionally attached to things. And it's just like everybody's not built for it. And that doesn't mean like to go what you were saying, Benji, like just because you can get on the internet doesn't mean you're built for it. Doesn't mean you can take it. Doesn't mean you're
It's
good.
true.
So
But they
feel
still
like
gotta
you
live in
should never
society.
do something to fit in because just because you do that to fit in doesn't mean you're going to be built for the backlash or whatever comes with that.
That's true.
If you can't
But
even
at
deal
the
with
same
yourself, you
time-
definitely should set yourself up to be dealing with something you have no idea about.
That's true. But then you just like you're describing a recluse because even if you don't get on the internet, you still got to walk outside your door and live every day. You're going to see people.
But see, that's
You're going
what
to see
made
the
us
world.
tough. But that's what made us tough because we lived outside in the world. So a motherfucker calling you the shit that they call each other on the internet ain't made us motherfucking kill ourselves.
And I don't
Exactly.
think
So
you
again,
would
like I
even get.
said, it's hard to live in the society that we live in. And if somebody feel like that they need to change something about themselves to make them feel better or to fit in, let them do it.
It's
Who
not
are you
harder.
to say?
It's not harder. It's not harder in this
It's not
society.
harder
It's
for
harder
you.
on.
It's
It's
harder
harder
for
on the
them.
internet. I feel like out in the real world, off of the internet, it's not hard. Like nobody
It
cares
is.
about what you're doing on the
They do.
internet. That's where it's hard. Like I feel like we all grew up in the '90s where we could walk down, people like, oh, faggot,
Ugly,
It's
dirty.
ugly. It's boys
No,
out here living their
I
walking down
find
the
people
street.
ugly all the time.
Hell, don't give a shit. Nobody caring about what they're doing. Like, you know, nobody cares. But when
They
you go on the
do.
internet,
No, and on the internet, all you gotta do is put your phone down.
All you got to
When
do
you're
is turn
in,
off the
when you're
phone.
exactly
When
when
you're in
you're
public-
out in public and
right?
somebody
That
tries
is
to
all.
attack you,
That is all you got to do.
then that's worse.
Exactly.
Like,
It is
I'm saying,
worse.
that's
You
what
can
we're
turn
saying.
your computer off.
I didn't say it was. I
You can
didn't say
turn your
one was
phone
worse.
off.
I didn't say one was worse than the other. I said it's. I feel like it's not as bad in the real world as it is on the internet.
It's
Like,
bad. Trust me.
I like in the real
No,
world.
some people are not emboldened to say anything or bother somebody if they're by themselves, but if they think they got an audience or they got like Yankees with
Exactly.
them or they feel like they got something to prove or something,
Okay,
then like
but we all lived in a society where that was at an all-time high, and I feel like now it's really outdoors speaking wise. It's not like it was back in the
I
day.
think what
no,
happens,
it's getting worse. A lot of people are
It is
getting
getting
worse.
worse.
well, I think with the
Like,
internet, it
but
allows it
nobody's
to be
recording them.
replayed.
Exactly.
That's the worst part about it is the internet allows it to be replayed. So somebody can retweet that somebody said
Yeah.
this about you.
Even if you delete it.
20 people could comment on it and whatever like that. So I think that's the worst part about it. But for me, growing up, like somebody called you ugly and then you crack back like, bitch, your grandmom ugly with a fucking mustache and shit like that. Like you just you was hard because you knew, like, listen, if I ain't got no thick skin, they gonna eat me up. Like your parents told you that.
That shit was corny as fuck to me. I hated that type of shit.
It was.
Listen,
Like, you know how
I
many
hated
times, like,
it too,
in
but
high
you had to put
school,
that
where somebody
that
they
quote
do a little busting on each other and shit like that, it is hard for people. And like I said,
So y'all
like,
don't think the internet is like 10 times
no, the
worse?
internet is
No,
bad.
that type
Nobody
of
said it's
stuff.
not
That type
bad.
of stuff.
It's
Right?
harder,
No, the
but
internet's bad, but that shit actually molded us. Where it's like, bitch, ain't
that's
no,
what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
can't,
Like if you
can't nobody
but
read. That's why gay people can read so well. Can't nobody read
Yeah,
Exactly,
that
like
because
reading
we
stuff,
live
I
with
like
it
gay
hated
face to
can.
that with a
face.
passion.
We live
but
with
this
it face
is
to face.
but this
Right.
is what I'm saying. Like nowadays, it is totally
We quick
different than
with
it
it.
was back in the day. There is no, like, I feel like back in the day, you, like Randy said, you got that thick skin because that's just how it was back in the day. Like you had to survive in this. You had to grow up in it. That's just what it was.
And no, because
Nowadays,
nobody was
Now it's
checking them,
called
and they were
bullying.
not being
but
held
now it's called bullying,
accountable for
one,
what they
and
were
two,
saying.
Yeah, now it's
but
called bullying,
and two, you cannot,
which we should
and I
bring
know
back
you
for
can,
some
y'all say
people.
you can put your phone down, and it's easy to put your phone down and everything. But if you think about it, let's really look at it. If somebody put their phone down to stay off of the internet because they didn't like what was being said, they would be isolating themselves from society because the
Not
internet
necessarily,
wait,
because
the internet makes up a big social media. Let's put it this way:
that's social media. The internet
depending
and
on your
social media could be two
age
different
bracket,
things.
depending on your age bracket, social media plays a big part of your life.
Yes.
Depending on your age bracket, it's just the way it is, and we can't be ignorant to the fact that it does.
But see, now you see how like there's more killings because people are arguing on social media and stuff like that. So you have to be really mindful that you really have to like take social media out because it's a whole nother engine.
Right.
It's a
Some
big
people are
influence
crazy
though.
already.
Uh,
But
It's a big influence. That's why some people get their influence to actually become a part of the hate crime situation. Like they start hating gay people because of the internet, something that they
Exactly.
saw. So it's a big influence in the community, period.
oh yeah, for sure. I believe that. I definitely believe that without a shadow of a doubt. But I think if you're a follower online, you're a follower offline. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just whether you decided, I just think that online you have access to these communities that think like you. Versus on your block, everybody might not think like you on the block. Everybody might not think like you in your city. But like when you're going on social media, you can find like-minded individuals and they can feed whatever it is your belief system is. Like, you know what I mean?
That's the problem.
Yes, that's
September,
what I'm saying.
January 6th.
That's why I think it's worse on the internet because you can, if you have a negative thought, you can find 10 other people who agree with your negative thought. Like, you know what I mean? Versus you without the internet,
It's amplified. It's amplified.
It's definitely amplified.
But it's not a reality because
Yeah, the internet, social
No,
media
it's
isn't
not.
reality.
Nobody said it was real.
It's a
But
scapegoat to
everybody's
me. That's
influenced.
but not for me, but
Exactly.
that's what it is for some
It's
people.
not
It's a
real, but
scapegoat.
everybody is influenced by it. Like, unfortunately. It's not
Right.
real, but that's
Listen,
just
you have to take social media and use it in doses like I do because it'll drive you crazy. I don't constantly post this and post that because honestly, I don't care. Whenever I go on social media, I'm not really focused on what everybody else is posting. I may post something, I may scroll through and see what other people are posting, and I go about my business. If most people did that, they wouldn't be psychopaths.
So, okay, let's just coming off of that. All right, so moving on to something else we can discuss, which is kind of like similar but not similar. All right, so back in the day, another thing that has changed is labels. I feel like back in the day, like it was about knocking down labels, it's about, destroying labels, versus now it seems like labels are extremely important. For example, specifically the non-binary group. Like this is not something that existed when I was growing up, but or like
None of us.
I mean, if it did, right, when any of us was growing up, if it did exist, we didn't know about it. But my thing is, I would love to hear how all y'all feel about this label that's a part of this now, that's becoming a part of the LGBTQ plus community, non-binary. How do you guys feel about it? Like, what do you?
What do you want to start with?
Let's start with you, Khalid.
Okay. So with the non-binary situation, a lot of people get it switched, confused with two-spirited. It's two different situations because the definition of non-binary is you don't relate to any sex, which can be confusing to people that say they are two-spirited. So two-spirited, I personally understand as a gay man, as a butch queen, whatever you want to call it. I get it. I understand. I can relate to it. Non-binary is more so you don't relate to any gender, but you kind of have a gender fluid swag. To me, it kind of sends a confusion to a lot of people. In my opinion, I don't agree with it, but I also respect people's way of living. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I can do is respect it. I just don't get it.
Right.
I don't get it either. I say, fine with me. If you want to be they, us, them, we, go right ahead. That to me, that's just a split personality.
Yeah,
I agree. So that whole they them
I
thing,
don't
that
understand.
whole we fought so much for individuality. So for you to want to be a part of a group and just say, "Oh, I'm part of them and they,"
Exactly.
I think it has something to do with mental health. I don't want to
Illness.
offend anybody, but that's something that you got to figure out. You got to pick something. You are male or female,
I
or
can
you.
understand. Yeah, I can understand if you're a male and you identify as a her or a she, or if you're a female, you identify as a he or a him. But I do not understand it. So them, we, they. To me, I think
I
you need
don't
to go
get that
seek
either.
help.
I can even understand, like Khalik was saying
Who
about
are all these people?
the whole two-spirited thing. Like, if you feel like you are both, like male and
Well, these
female,
people.
if you feel like you are male and female, then I do definitely understand. But if that was the case, you shouldn't care, because a lot of non-binary people, they're like androgynous people on a thousand. So to me, it's like you're bending the whole gender spectrum. So you shouldn't care if somebody call you he or she. In my opinion, if that's what non-binary is going to be about, is bending the gender spectrum, where you could be a chick with a beard, a guy with breasts, then you shouldn't care what you be called if somebody calls you a he or she, because clearly you're
Here's
giving
a
them both.
respect thing. I don't know. I respect. I'm trying to.
I
I'm learning. I'm trying to learn it because I think it's a respect thing. Because I know somebody that transitioned and they became a transgender woman, and now they want to detransition and they call themselves a transgender non-binary woman, and I'm confused. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So if you go out in public and you visually
so do
you
they
look
want
like
their
a
thing?
woman, say it again.
They want
Well, I
their
think
thing.
here's
No, they never got their thing. They was a pre-op transsexual. They wasn't a
Okay.
post-op
yeah.
transsexual. So they got titties. Now they want to get the titties removed. I mean, it's confusing. I get it. We go through, we try things, might not like it. I get it. But to go back and forth, like you got to go through counseling before you get to a
Yeah.
certain place to get breasts put
With
on
the
your chest. That's just my
hormones and
opinion.
When
everything.
they do it
Right.
right.
I
Even
think
the hormones, it could be a test drive. Go ahead and take hormones
Yeah.
and see if it's for you, because you can always come off of it. But to take a big decision like getting breasts put in your body or to get your penis cut, I know a lot of people that killed themselves because of that. So
Yeah.
that's deep. That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, what's confusing is because people, when they encounter non-binary people, they can't really get an understanding what non-binary really means. So are you non-binary gender-wise? Your sexuality? What is it? You know,
Is it a sexual thing? Non-binary, is it a sexual
I
thing?
don't think it is.
well,
It's
It's
not a
not.
sexual thing.
well, it on the surface is not, but for the most part, people who identify as
I just think they want to swing
non-binary
it whichever way.
don't identify as a sexual category as well.
But you know what? Maybe we need somebody to actually come on or inbox one of us and let us know or
And they
explain
going
it better
no,
so we can get it.
no, because then they're gonna confuse us even more. Like,
I'm
listen,
crying.
But I like to be educated. So if somebody
But
can
see,
explain the
I
day
think
thing, the day and
that's
them and we,
Wikipedia.
that's the thing. Somebody's not one person's non-binary might be tied to gender. Another person's non-binary might be sexual.
that's where I say is too much confusion. And what we
I
fought for,
honestly,
individuality, is too much.
I want to meet
honestly
the
think they should
psychiatrist
just.
who came up with this shit.
I really think they need to drop it. Like, I feel like non-binary, the